original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game on NES was a mixed bag in terms of quality, but it sold really well, thanks in large part to the franchise's status as a pop culture phenomenon. The same year that this game was released, an entirely different game of the same name, also by Konami, was released in the arcade. This one was a beat-em-up rather than an action platformer like the NES entry, and it was a massive hit. I pumped a lot of quarters into it personally. This version would be ported to the NES as the sequel to the original NES game, entitled Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game. Even if it does contradict the ending of TMNT 1 where Splinter turns into a human, whatever. Much of the arcade version is present in the NES port, although there were some modifications, as you'd probably expect. The biggest change is that you can no longer play 4 players, which is a real misfire. I know there weren't a lot of games that supported the multi-tap adapter to play up to 4 players, but this would have been the perfect time to include it. But alas, you can only play up to 2, which is at least more than the first NES game. Most of the rest of the changes are minor, like the graphics, which the NES is obviously incapable of handling in its original arcade form. The dialogue doesn't have any audio voice clips, just the text, and there will only be one type of foot soldier on the screen at any given time, as opposed to the arcade version where multiple types would commingle. There are some enhancements though. Stages are longer in this version, and there are 2 new original stages, the Snowy Park and the Dojo, which add some variety to the visuals, because aside from the apartment and sewer levels, everything else has a similar urban street theme. Even the Technodrome has that same grayscale-ish palette. So these new stages mix it up a little bit, although even though the other stages do look similar, there's plenty of detail and touch to distinguish them apart from each other, so it's not like it's the same old shit. You get 3 lives, and rather than being able to extend the game via coin inserts, you just get 3 continues. The only power-up in the whole game is the pizza, which does fill your entire health meter, but these slices aren't all that easy to come by. In fact, there are some stages that don't have any pizza at all, but in the later levels, they do tend to stash one at the boss fight, which helps. Also, thankfully your health fully regenerates when you move on to a new stage or segment. There are a few stages with 2 parts. You'll also earn an extra life every 200 points you accumulate, so the game at least throws you a bone every once in a while. The combat is very straightforward. You press B to attack, A to jump, and both simultaneously to do a special attack, which isn't easy to execute every single time, but it does do more damage, like it will take out the foot soldiers in 1 shot as opposed to 2. And you can also do a kick attack by jumping and then pressing attack while you're in midair. There's not a lot of complexity in the strategy, it's mostly about timing and patience. Now that doesn't mean it's easy, not in the slightest, but it definitely is easier than the first game. The game's soundtrack is quite good, but it has the opposite problem of the first game's soundtrack. Where Ninja Turtles 1 had a good soundtrack, it had 0 familiarity, particularly lacking the Ninja Turtles theme. Ninja Turtles 2 does have the theme, but it's incorporated into basically every single song on the whole soundtrack. You can certainly make the argument that the game gets a little on the repetitive side, as you're doing nothing more than beating the shit out of people, mostly foot soldiers, but that's the nature of the genre. If this kind of game isn't your bag, then this game isn't going to bring anything different to the table to change your mind. If you do like the beat-em-ups, and especially if you're a Ninja Turtles fan, then you'll definitely enjoy this port. The first stage opens up with a cutscene. April O'Neil's apartment is on fire, so it's Turtles to the rescue. Not like they're gonna go save everyone else in the building or anything, but hey, 4 turtles can't work miracles. The rest is up to the fire department. The presence of the Foot Clan right off the bat should signify that Shredder is the arsonist behind this, but no time to think about that shit now. These purple foot soldiers are the normal garden variety, and they're the most common enemy in the game. They'll throw punches, kicks, grab a hold of you, and once in a while fire off a ninja star. You'll need to mash buttons to get away from their grasp when they hang on to you. Attacking them from behind is the best way to evade their attacks, since most of their attacks are short range from the front. So I like to quickly get behind them, and even if they turn around, as long as you attack them quickly, they won't have enough time to get their attack off. And the ninja stars can be destroyed with your weapon. Then you'll find these stairwells with these massive fucking bowling balls rolling down. Why this is happening in an apartment complex in New York City that's burning to the ground, or where these balls even came from, I have no idea. But try to keep yourself out of the range of the stairwell as often as possible. If you do venture into it every now and then for the sake of positioning or advancing, make sure you do it in between barrages of balls. These blue foot soldiers are basically the same as the purple ones, except they toss knives at you, which you can deflect with your weapon, but I'd pull the same strategy against these guys. Just be aware of their range in case you've got multiple soldiers coming from either side. You'll come across 2 of these stairwells with more purple guys in between. After the second stairwell, some purple guys will kick the doors in an attempt to surprise attack you. Just stay low so you don't get ambushed. Then these white soldiers show up. Their range isn't as long as the knife throwers, but they do have an overhead swing, so a kick attack could be telegraphed. After clearing them out, some more purple guys show up out of the elevator doors. After taking care of them, you'll face off with 3 of these robots called Roadkill Rodney. They'll slide around the room and attack you with either a laser or an electric whip. Try not to stand in front of any of them. Corner them into a wall and spam attack until they die. The trouble with dealing with 3 of them is the fact that while you're smashing 1 or even 2 of them up, there could always be another 1 or 2 lurking, so keep your eye out for the others. After killing them all, you'll enter April's room, where you'll get more white soldiers, and then you're introduced to the red ones. These guys carry machine guns that always aim low. I guess they want to take out your kneecaps. So attack from behind, or do a kick. Just watch out for his nearby friends. After finishing them off, Rocksteady drills his way through the floor for the first boss battle of the game. He'll fire his machine gun either straight ahead or at a diagonal, which can get in the way of your regular or kick attacks. He'll also throw in some kicks, or do a full-on charge across the room. Be careful of this at close range. Do a kick attack and try to position it so you land in his chest area, basically between where his bullets are going to come from. But do a hit and run strategy, because you don't want to get pummeled with his close range attacks in the process. He'll start flashing as he gets closer to being defeated. Keep it going until you finish him off. Shredder appears, grabs April, and dives out the window. How the hell did everyone survive that fall? The next stage takes place on the city streets, and it's daylight now, so I guess the turtles decided to hit the sack before attempting any kind of rescue mission. It starts out with some purple soldiers, the first of which will spring out of the sewer and chuck the manhole cover at you, which you can ricochet back at him. Just don't fall into the sewers. You'll climb back out, but you'll lose a hit point. Then there are some blue guys, and there are a few interactive spots around here. You can knock the parking meter into someone and send the cap of the fire hydrant into someone's face. Then there are more purple guys, but these toss sticks of dynamite at short range. Just make sure to veer away from their path and take them out. A little further up is your first pizza slice of the whole fucking game. If you're playing with a friend, my suggestion is to let the person with less health take it, and wait till all the enemies on the screen are defeated before you pick one up, unless you're really low on health. Then you'll meet the yellow foot soldiers who toss boomerangs. You can ricochet them with your regular attack, but the kick attacks will put you in position to get hit on the bounce back. Keep your eye on where the other guys are, because if another one lines up with you, you could find yourself getting hit by one while you're attacking the other from behind. Attack only when it's safe to do so. When you get down here, there'll be a couple yellow guys hiding behind the product placement posters. So stay low so you don't get hit with those, and take them out. Soon after is the first boss of this stage, Bebop. He'll fire his weird ray with circle lasers, and his attacks are a lot like Rocksteady. He'll punch, kick, shoot, and charge. Big difference is, when he's charging, he'll change direction and his Y-axis positioning on the screen. So if you're in midair trying to land in a safe spot to evade him, you better hope he's not charging. Also, his gun's circle lasers travel significantly slower than Rocksteady's. Otherwise, you're more or less pulling the same strategy against him. After you take him out, what do you think the next option is? Yeah, let's do the one thing we said not to do earlier, jump in the sewer. So the next part of the stage is fittingly in the sewer. You can either walk on the pavement on the top portion of the screen, or walk around in the sewage on the bottom half. Most of the time it doesn't matter, it doesn't affect the speed of you or your enemy's travel, but there will be certain spots where one side is more optimal. You get a bunch of purple guys, then a batch of blue guys, then a batch of maroon soldiers. These guys wield sledgehammers. They'll send you on your ass if you get hit, but when they swing and miss, they'll take a second to get lined up again. So bait them into swinging and kick their teeth in when their hammer is still lodged in the ground. Then some mousers start eating through the walls. They'll wander around, and if they get close, they'll take a bite out of your arm and you have to shake them off. They come out one at a time, so ideally you'll want to wipe them out as they come out and spam attack until it's dead, so you don't have to worry about one attacking from behind. Then the white soldiers will come swimming out of the liquid shit, so it's a good idea to be on the top half to avoid getting ambushed. Then these beams of some kind will raise and lower from the ceiling. You can pass underneath if you can be quick enough, or just slip to the bottom half and dodge the missile that pops out of the water. Soon after is the boss, Baxter Stockman and his little flying machine. He just flies over the screen while sending mousers your way. The mousers are the only threat to you, so focus on attacking Stockman, and just keep an eye on your positioning. If you end up face to face with a mouser, take it out. Otherwise, just keep your distance from them and smash up Baxter's ship until it explodes. You'll get a threatening message from Shredder, who's with a now mutated Stockman. While you were down in the sewer, a snowstorm took place, but since it's spring, then there's obviously some tomfoolery going on here. This is also an NES exclusive stage, as this was not included in the arcade version, or any of the other ports as far as I know. It starts out with these giant ice chunks that fall out of the sky. They fall fast, so watch the ground for shadows that will indicate where they're gonna land, and get the hell away. Then after a batch of regular purple foot soldiers, a huge-ass snowplow comes barreling through. So get to the top portion of the screen before it comes, and it'll just pass by. Then these snowmen come hopping along, firing missiles. Knock the missiles out of the way, and spam attack the snowmen until the robot is revealed, and then smash it up to finish it off. It'll only fire one missile at a time, but there are usually more than one snowman robot, so watch for the attacks from behind too, and don't step on any of these snow piles. They're actually open manholes that you'll fall through. Then these light blue foot soldiers emerge, and they employ the deadly tactic of throwing snowballs at you. I guess these snowballs are snow-covered bombs or some shit. Either way, they're essentially the knife-throwing guys, so treat them accordingly. After some more plain purples, you'll get another plow, so stay up top, fend off another batch of snowball dickheads, and then you'll get a few more snowman robots. Right after that is another ice storm, some regular purple guys, and then you'll encounter the boss, a Fonzie wannabe polar bear named Toro. He'll throw punches and whatnot at close range, but the bulk of his attacks are via large ice chunks that are dropped directly into his hands, implying that someone is manually dropping this ice from a helicopter or something, because that would otherwise be a hell of a coincidence for him to always be in the right spot when ice falls naturally towards him. Anyway, he'll throw the ice your way, so give yourself some distance, reposition yourself when he throws it so you're lined up with him, and kick attack, and retreat. If you time it right, you can back him into a corner and just keep blasting. If you hit him when he's got a nice chunk in his hand and you time it right, it'll just drop to the ground and won't harm you. Keep this up until he's done for, and you'll destroy the weather-altering device, bringing the springtime back again. But that's only the first half of the stage. Now you're in the parking garage. You'll start out with some red soldiers that don't have any weapons. They behave like purple soldiers. I don't know if this is a programming fuck-up or what, but either way, you can knock these cones into them. Then you'll get the white sword wielders. Get the explosive barrel here to ignite it, and after a couple seconds, it will explode and wipe out any foot soldier in its radius. Just make sure you don't stick around, cause you can get hurt from it too. You can lower them to the barrel by lining yourself up horizontally with it. Then you've got some purple soldiers, some blue knife guys, some more purples, and then right after that, watch out for this blue car that'll come speeding out of the spot and machine gunners will pop out. Take them down, wipe out the next wave of purple guys, and then the next orange car will do the same peel out maneuver as the last one, and more machine gunners will appear. After that, 3 more purples will pop out of the back of this truck, and then again right after that. After wiping them out, you'll find April tied up, and the fly mutated Baxter Stockman pops in for a rematch. This is different from the Rocksteady Bebop Double Team rematch from the arcade. There's a pizza slice on the ground, so eat it when you get low on health to maximize your chances in the battle. You'll fire 2 pairs of shiny orbs in your direction, and then fly off somewhere else while ironically swinging a fly swatter if you end up directly underneath him. Lure his attacks, move over to the side, and after the second attack, line yourself up and do a jump kick when he crosses over. Rinse, wash, repeat until he's done for, and you'll rescue April and get the reward of a kiss on the top of your bald head. So now you're on the highway on a path to the secret factory. It starts off with some blue knife soldiers. After taking them out, you'll be introduced to another variant of the regular purple guys. These carry spears. They'll throw them straight ahead and reload quickly, so if you try a jump kick to their upper body, you very well could get swatted at. So either attack up high in the head area, or just sneak behind them and attack from there, or do the special attack. Then this car of foot soldiers comes speeding by. So much like the snowplow, get up top. Although you're on a public highway, I mean this is a horrible place to be walking. Then you'll get some sledgehammer soldiers, and after taking them out, you'll do battle with another trio of roadkill Rodneys. Take them down, then fend off the dynamite tossing soldiers, and then another round of the spear dudes. Right after that, another car comes whizzing by, so get up top again, and then you'll be introduced to these maniacs carrying explosives. They'll toss it at you, and then essentially be relegated to a regular foot soldier. So evade the explosives, and then take them out. After that, you'll get some motorcycle riding foot soldiers, driving in both directions of the road, popping wheelies. You know, the whole I'm riding a motorcycle, so I'm entitled to drive like an asshole thing. Avoid them, and then get ready for a car and motorcycle combination. Jump over them. Then you'll get some regular foot soldiers, hammer brothers, and knife enthusiasts before reaching a blockade. A few foot soldiers will pop out carrying tires they'll throw at you. Avoid the tire, take out all the foot, and then you'll ride out the rest of the stage on a skateboard. Not just any skateboard, a rocket-powered skateboard that has a sensor built in so it can follow you every move should you ever decide to not be on the damn thing. That feature comes in handy here though, as you'll be doing a lot of jumping, firstly to kick down these foot soldiers and helicopters trying to shoot you down. Stay north of their turrets so you don't line up in their line of fire, and don't line up directly underneath them or you'll get hit with the bombs they drop. Then you'll get some machine gunnists. Take them out, and really there's nothing different about how the skateboard operates versus just walking. It's basically the same mechanics, just that the background is sliding continuously and there's a skateboard underneath your spray. After that, you've got some boomerang guys and some more choppers, and that's it. You'll hop back into the turtle van, and then I'm assuming that they intentionally veered off the side of the road to the ground below to take a shortcut to the factory. Because if that was the end of the road, then who the hell built this shit? So now on to stage 5, where right after the turtle van gets wrecked, a bunch of mousers kidnap Splinter. Mousers will chew their way out of the ground, get in their grill before they emerge, and mow them down. Then you'll get some regular purple guys, and then the blue knife dudes. Take them all out. Then head up top so you don't have to deal with all these lasers that intermittently go off. Some machine gunners will show up. Just stay up top and let them come to you. No need to fight them in the laser path. Then you'll get some more regular purples, then a batch of spear soldiers, and then it starts raining metallic shells. These little robots will spawn out of them and crawl around spitting a circle projectile similar to Bebop's gun from earlier. Try to get close to them before they fully form so you can smash them right as they do. You won't be able to get them all this way though, so jump to avoid their attacks and kick them or line up behind them and wipe them out. Then you'll get some more purple guys, one of which will smash through the window, so don't hang out in the top portion of the screen here. Same for right after when another badge shows up. After taking them all out, a drill will emerge and it seems like we're at the boss fight, but no, it's just these flying machines. They'll fly out 4 at a time and fire small lasers when you're near while flying around. Your attacks will travel downward, so try to stay up high and unleash kicks while repositioning yourself to higher ground. You'll get 2 sets of 4 of these things before you're able to move on. Then you'll get some boomerangers, some standard purples, and then you'll come across these guns that are suspended from the ceiling and fire rapidly as they shift vertically across the screen. They move pretty fast, so try to position yourself away from them and jump to avoid the shots when they cross your path, all the while trying to get to them as quickly as you can. When you do, get in between them since they're firing in opposite directions, and smash them until they break down. Right after that, you'll find Splinter tied to the wall, and it's time for the boss battle with Granitor. He's slower than any of the previous bosses, and he doesn't have a charge attack like some of the previous gunmen you fought. But his flamethrower attack does have a steady stream, so make sure you jump over that shit and land your kicks in. Jump again quickly after you hit him so you don't get swiped, as that'll be a go-to attack for him from close range. There's a pizza in the corner. Do the same eat it if you're dying policy. Repeat the strategy until he's finished, and you'll rescue Splinter. And you're done with the stage. Scene 6 is the other NES exclusive stage. This one is a ninja dojo that harbors sorcery. Alright. Starts off with some purples, some of which come out of the doors. After taking them out, you'll meet these knuckle draggers that lumber around, and then leap across the room in an arc, tossing blades in your general direction while they're at the peak of their ascent. They'll also take swipes at you at close range. Keep your distance and either do a kick when they're on their way up, or avoid their blade, wait for them to land, and hit them as soon as they do. After wiping them out, you'll get some more purple dudes, some of which pop out of the floor, which simultaneously creates a hole that acts as a manhole should you accidentally step on one. So keep these in mind as you position yourself. Then these annoying as fuck spears come shooting out of the ground with no warning. Not only that, they're not in a fixed position, so they'll shoot up close to you no matter where you're standing. You have a better chance to avoid it if you stay up top, but jump constantly to maximize your chances of getting through unscathed. Then the ninja magic starts to come into play, when the tiger painting in the background comes to life and chases you down, pouncing from one side of the screen to the other. Strike him head on, and then move closer to him as he's knocked back to get another hit in. If you let him have his space, he'll do a jump attack, which will hurt you. You'll have to battle 2 of these felines back to back, but after finishing them off, you'll have to face these robotic scorpions. They'll fire lasers and lash their stingers at you at close range. Jump to avoid all this shit, and land kicks in or attack from behind. And if you get them trapped against a wall, just spam attack. Then you'll get another batch of knuckle draggers, some more plain old purple guys, and then the boss, Shogun. He'll literally appear out of thin air and take swipes at you with his staff. He walks slow, but his attack is very quick, and he has a bizarre attack of detaching his own head and it sails across the room spinning around. This creates a major obstacle with landing drop kicks, which you're going to want to do anyway. But you have to keep one eye on his body and one eye on his head. Land your kicks and quickly get away right after you hit. Make sure that you steer clear from the head. He'll periodically snap the head back on. This gives you a reprieve from dealing with double threat, but Shogun is still a pain in the ass either way. Thankfully there's a pizza here, but even if you start with full health, fight, take damage, and eat the pizza, it would still be impressive to get through without dying once. After taking him out, you'll drop into the floor underground where the Technodrome is. We've got to find the Technodrome? Isn't that exactly what we just did? You start off battling boomerangers, and then you've got a pair of these suspended guns. Only this time, whoever set these up realized the error of their ways and set them both up to face towards you, making it twice as difficult to get by without getting hit. With so much firepower coming at once, it's very difficult to line yourself up carefully. Just jump, plow through, and hope for the best. Then you've got some sword soldiers, but there's a laser firing across the room. Stay on the right side of the screen during this battle as much as you can to minimize your chances of getting hit by it. Then some more purple guys come out of the door here. Take them out, and then these ice guns pop out of the floor out of nowhere to try to freeze you. Jump continuously to avoid this. Then you've got some knife tossers, these crawly robots that fall from the ceiling, and then another pair of these freaking guns. Right after that is a batch of machine gun foot soldiers, and some more swordsmen with the laser in the way. Right after that will be more of these freeze guns. Avoid them, and you'll get on an elevator as these giant bowling balls come rolling down towards you. I guess the Technodrome is where these balls originally came from. That answers my question from before. When you get off, there's a pizza slice, along with some machine gunners. So take them out first before you eat, unless you get really low on health. And after that, you get a battle with the Rodneys, some knife guys, and then, hey, more of these Rodneys again. Then you'll face off with some sledgehammer soldiers, some regular ass purples, and then get away from the front door here, because it'll get kicked in, and you'll face the first boss in a trilogy of boss fights, General Trag. This fight is very similar to the one with Granitor, just this time Trag is firing rockets instead of fire. Initiate the same strategy from that fight into this one, drop kicks and quick escapes right after to avoid the short range smacks. Taking him out, he'll crumble into a pile of rocks. The laser door opens, and you'll enter the infamous control room where the next boss awaits, Krang. Thankfully, your health fills up as you transition rooms. He'll come out of the Dimension X portal and fire lasers out of his eyes to either side, fire his forearm across the screen if you're far away, and kick you at close range. Unleash drop kicks and try to hit them so that you land with some space between you and him, so when you immediately jump again after hitting him, you're less likely to take one of his attacks. Namely, the kicks are the biggest problem when you land in front of him. After taking him out, his body will explode. Krang, in brain form, claims that he's invincible for some reason. I guess you can't stab him or anything. He'll take off, and then the final battle begins. Of course, it's Shredder. He'll split off into a clone, and you'll essentially fight off two Shredders at once. He'll wield swords which have pretty good range, so don't get too close to him. Just apply the usual jump kicks. When he stands back, he's about to unleash a beam with a decent radius. Get the hell away from it. It'll reverse mutate you into a baby turtle and take away a whole life in one shot. If he's in the middle of the room, then you can attack him here if you can safely get behind him. But don't risk getting hit with this beam at any point. When one's helmet flies off, then you'll have identified the doppelganger, so go after the other one. If you hit the doppelganger twice, you'll defeat him, but then the real Shredder just clones himself again and you have to go back to figuring out who the hell the real one is all over again. Eventually, after about 9 million hits, you'll knock the real Shredder's mask off too, which now prevents him from using his beam or his cloning ability, but he is faster. You're also at the home stretch at this point, so keep this going until you finally finish him off. The Technodrome explodes, with the fates of Shredder and Krang left ambiguous, although I thought it was pretty clear that Krang escaped. Then the credits roll, and the turtle blimp flies across the city, and a slideshow of the turtles plays on the Jumbotron of one of the buildings. But then you see Shredder, revealing that the man lives, and hinting at a sequel, which would come out in 1992 as the Manhattan Project, but we'll save that one for another time. And that wraps up this edition of Aqualung's Game Reviews. See you next time.